Good evening, guys. How y'all doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993 for just a quick little video I want to do to catch up on some breaking news that was announced yesterday just after Fastlane, even though it had been apparently been official for a few hours before Fastlane, but WWE.com did not reveal the news until after Fastlane, as we've got yet another big man out on the market, now a free agent. Well, no compete clause, so he technically cannot sign anywhere until June 20th, I think it is, 2021, I think it is the earliest he can sign with someone else or start competing somewhere else. But, yes, Andrade Cien Almas, which, of course, he was Andrade for his last, 2 years in WWE. Always Cien Almas to me, for sure. Andrade Cien Almas was granted his release from WWE yesterday, March 21st, 2021. He had actually asked for his release a week earlier, but WWE denied it, which I don't understand why, because... So, first let's talk about Andrade, the man himself. Andrade Cien Almas was one of those guys that didn't catch my attention at first. He didn't win me over when he first came to NXT in, I believe it was 2016. Yes, because I think he debuted at NXT TakeOver The End against Ty Dillinger, I think it was. He came in as like a bland baby face with just a goofy looking hat. And then, not long into his NXT run after his feud with Bobby Roode, he turned heel. And he was just basically being like that standard heel who was just putting on good matches to put over, incoming talents like, Roderick Strong or Aleister Black in Aleister's debut match at NXT TakeOver Orlando in 2017. It wasn't until he started pairing up with Zelina Vega, who was released last fall, and of course now will probably be wrestling in AEW sometime soon as Thea Trinidad. Who knows when she will be wrestling, or she'll go by her real name Thea Trinidad, who knows. When they started that pairing, Andrade really took off. And I'll put it this way, Andrade was never my favorite wrestler, but it was from this point on that I took him very seriously and respected the talent that he was. He had a great run as NXT champion. He had a great feud with Johnny Gargano. The series of matches, especially his championship match with Gargano at TakeOver Philadelphia in 2018. That was a classic. One of the best wrestling matches I've ever watched. He benefited so much just from being with Zelina and from feuding with Johnny, being like that foil for Johnny to have something to do until Tommaso Ciampa comes back. But yet Andrade and Zelina kept haunting Johnny with Tommaso Ciampa memories. He would finish his run in NXT when he dropped the title to Aleister Black at NXT TakeOver New Orleans, just 1 year after these two had a match previously. An outstanding match. They got brought to the main roster. He was on SmackDown for most of his run on the main roster. I know he feuded with Sin Cara when he came up, and they actually had some pretty good matches there. Kind of got pushed off to the side for a little. He really took off on the main roster when he had his matches with Rey Mysterio. I think there was one at the beginning of 2019, I think it was, that they literally put on. It was on an episode of SmackDown. It was a freaking classic. Those guys just worked so well together. And the thing was most guys that Andrade had matches with that were top stars, he had some pretty good matches with. I remember him having a match on Raw with Seth Rollins. I remember him having a match with AJ Styles. Finn Balor, apparently they had a great match. Not last summer, but the summer before at Super Showdown for the Intercontinental Championship. He had some good matches when given the opportunity to have a good match. Of course, he did get a run on the main roster with the United States Championship. He held for about 6 months, I'd say. He held it for quite a while, eventually dropping it to Apollo Crews last summer. But then when they had him and Angel Garza paired up, and Austin Theory thrown in there as well, the team just like they could have done so much more with them. And then the thing was Andrade was also one of the guys that Paul Heyman wanted to push on Raw when Heyman was the executive director or executive producer, whatever you want to call him, of Monday Night Raw. Andrade was one of his 6 guys that he wanted to push. But the moment Heyman got fired, then it was just all downhill for so many guys, and Andrade was one of them. Vince, unfortunately, just never saw anything in Andrade. I think, apparently, one time, he basically told Andrade, learn how to speak English, kid, and then come back to me. Like, what the hell? You look at the talent like Andrade, he's just awesome. I actually also, personal experience, had the privilege to meet Andrade. I met him one of my 3 autograph signings I had at WrestleMania Access when I went to WrestleMania 35. I got to meet the guy, and I got to tell him how much I loved his match with him and Johnny at Secret Philadelphia. Soft-spoken guy, but he said thank you and everything. Great man. But yeah, after they feuded, Andrade and Garza feuded with the Street Profits. It was just, that was it for Andrade. He's in the same boat as Aleister Black. Basically just taken off of TV, having nothing to do with him. Nothing to do at all. But the thing about Andrade wasn't even drafted in the draft last year. When that happened, I was pissed. I was quite furious. The other thing, though, too, was you realize, too, Andrade is engaged to Charlotte Flair. So, you're mean to tell me, I'm not the biggest fan of nepotism, of course, but even being Charlotte's man was not enough for Vince to give this man a chance. I don't know if he proved to me his last run in NXT as the NXT champion. He proved to me that he can be a main eventer. I felt for a while he was being a strong upper card level teasing a main event. But then they literally just gave up on him just like that. Just took him off TV just for no reason once the stuff with him, Zelina, and Garza ended. So it's just a shame. And to deny him at first of his release, why would you keep him if you don't want to do anything with him, or if you see nothing with him? The guy was miserable, apparently. I'm interested to hear, if he does get a podcast, an interview, to hear what he's got to say. Because I always, especially in this last several years, with how many superstars have left WWE, I am always just very intrigued to hear their behind the scenes story. Just like recently with Paul White, no more BS for Paul White. But yeah, I just don't know what happened. Just like Aleister Black, who I'm pretty sure they're gonna get rid of soon. Also, Aleister Black needs to get out. If they're not even putting Aleister Black on TV, for crying out loud, he's got to go too. Andrade Cien Almas, though, I'm glad he got granted his release, because again, he didn't deserve to be sitting on the bench for that long, doing absolutely nothing, going undrafted as well. Such a shame. And again, this man is talented. He was the guy that had to prove it to me. That at first was not winning me over, but then he caught my eye, and that shows how much respect I got for Andrade Cien Almas. And I don't know where he's going to go next. He's going to go wrestle back in Mexico, or he's going to go to New Japan, or I don't know if he'll try AEW. Who knows? But I definitely hope he gets the recognition he deserves. Again, he's an awesome talent that definitely should have gotten a nice push on the main roster. Would have been a great addition. Again, if Heyman was still around, Andrade would still be safe. But unfortunately, since Heyman got fired from his position as executive director of Raw, then it was just that was it for Andrade, unfortunately. So he made a good call to get out. I hope he's happy. I wish him nothing but the best. And yeah, I'm just still surprised that, again, I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but even being Charlotte Flair's man was not enough for Vince to recognize him, which I'm kind of shocked by that. But yeah, guys, that's my thoughts on Andrade getting granted his release from WWE yesterday. What are your guys' thoughts? Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content to come my channel. And follow me on Twitter at TheManAirBody3. Until then, guys, I'm checking out. Have a good night. I'll see you guys all Wednesday night for my Raw review. So until then, guys, peace out, everybody.